So this is going to be the first video log that I'm going to do for the various projects I've got going on at the moment throughout university. I'm going to go into some design and performance aspects of the two shows that I'll be doing. The first of which being The Man Who Lost the Day, which I'm doing in collaboration with Stephen Mack as both the performer and the dramaturg. And the second is going to be Death to My Hometown, The Bold 45, which is my solo show, which I'm also asking Stephen to help me with in my writing side of it. So throughout my time at university, as I went on to in the attached essay with it, is I talk a lot about design and performance. So I'm going to go into design. I'm going to have some stuff drawn up on the whiteboard just beside me, which then I'll spin around the camera and show it to you. So pretty much the design for The Man Who Lost the Day is quite simple, it's quite elegant, it's very minimalist. We took that as well from our both our love of David Bowie, and some things he'd do would be very elaborate, and then some things he'd do would be very, very minimal. Minimal is good because again it allows you to broaden where you can put the show on at. You know, it's not designed just for proscenium arch theatre or a traverse theatre or theatre in the round. You know, you can adapt it to all of them, and that's what we're doing. The idea is being quite a traditional thrust staging like they do in Northern Stage, because that's where we originally were planning to do it, and then went through various rewrites so we didn't. So as I go on to about the design of the character in the essay, the design for Wayne's very minimal. Like, he would just have a chef's jacket on and just some things about him to really identify his personality. It'd be a very pristine jacket, very white, because he's very proud about what he does. There would be other things, maybe some cigarettes in the top pocket, to signify that, you know, he has a lifestyle where he's smoking cigarettes. So what else could that lead to for him, and what kind of person is he? And then for Stephen's character, as we've said before as well, he is the Thin White Duke, which again is a character developed by David Bowie. So the Thin White Duke is it's personification of cocaine addiction. You know, thin white lines, thin white Duke. So Stephen would be again designed to very much represent that ideal, with he had a cane that he was really interested in using, just as a sort of prop that he wanted to work in, but he's never had a chance to work into before. And he would look quite dandyish, he'd look quite dapper. So you've got a really good juxtaposition of who Wayne is against who this person is. And Kira Sweet's character, Lana, would be quite out there, quite vividly interesting to look at, because she's quite young and doesn't feel like real showy fits, so she would have quite a off look about her, where she would look like she doesn't fit into society very well. The set design for it, again, as I've said before, would be very minimal, with just brief hints of what was going on in the piece. Like, there might be some kitchen equipment lying around, or, you know, some stuff to signify that they're in a housing area. The main point of it is there's going to be a white box, and that white box is going to help signify Wayne's psyche, and we're going to use that. And my idea for there'd be 3 individual boxes, and as the show progresses, each box would get a little bit darker, a bit grimier, and a bit more broken, as if Wayne was really trying hard to break into it, because that's what Wayne wants to do the entire time. He's going to be constantly looking at this box, constantly trying to get into this box. We don't know yet whether or not the audience will ever be revealed as to what will be inside of it, but we've also got the idea of how we want to do it, and whether or not we will show what the audience is inside of it, or it could be very much in the theme of Tarantino's works, where there would be a fixed light bulb inside, and then when he finally opens it, there's just a light shining from it, and the audience will never be revealed or be told as to what's inside the box. That's really up for their own interpretation. That's what else we really agreed on, is that we like trust in our audience. We believe that audiences are quite smart. Like, they don't need loads of hints and loads of clues to get what's going on, and we want that discussion of what does that mean and who is that person, and then that also helps build the lore, builds the mythos of the character, really. The other show I'm doing is, of course, the Death to My Hometown, the Bold 45. That's a revamp of my solo show that was called The Bold 45. I've taken on a lot of the feedback that was given to me about how I want the set designed, how I want to perform it, and so So the design of that piece is going to be, a play with music, and it's going to feature music sort of linked to stories. One of which being the title itself is a Bruce Springsteen song that talks about industrialization and crop governments like really destroying hometowns, in particular his hometown, which again I allude to in the essay attached in this, and also what I feel happened to Rutherglen, my hometown where I'm from, where there was once a lot of industry. It was once where the ships started getting built, and then that sort of got destroyed, and unfortunately, sort of every sort of trade went out of there for a very long time. And for that piece, one of the main points of criticism I got was they felt like it was so under-rehearsed because I like to walk about, so they wanted me to have a spot where I could be more stationary. There's nothing wrong with going to the audience, it's just I was doing it far too much and giving them the old seasick effect because of how much I was walking back and forth. So one of the ideas is I want like a really heavy chair, like a really old chair that will originally be facing away from the audience. I want to have an old sort of 50s retro microphone because it's going to be a play with music also, and music's going to be a big theme, as I allude to again in the essay. Going to see that quite a bit. With all the shows I work on, I think music is really good for helping audiences like there's something linking this imaginary world to the world that they live in, even though this is slightly autobiographical in the sense that these are stories that I know that have happened to me and happened to others that I know. So that's going to be a big part of it. It's going to be played music. I'm also going to use the multimedia screen for my design. I'm a very firm believer in using all the methods that we now have available to us in the modern era, and of course, like that also lends itself to be travel around in the professional context of you can get a projector, you can rent one. They're not too hard to come by. And with the lighting on that one, like Manuel Lost Day, the lighting is going to be very minimal, very just pure white. I want that same sort of effect. Because as Breck said, we must look at theatre with the scientific light, and that was very plain, very just harsh white light. It lets people see the truth of what they're watching. But I want to have a tinge of blue because that's the Scottish flag and it's quite closely synonymous with freedom. Okay. And the way I'm going to work the screen is, which I'm going to go into later when I do a sort of vlog on performance, is that I want to be facing away from the audience, and it's going to be a cut together footage of great sort of Scottish moments that are ranging from what people think are great Scottish moments to what are personally to the people Scotland national moments of greatness. Like we could have clips of the first pictures broadcasted on the television set, the first phone call, and stuff like that, and then have a few shots of penicillin and Glasgow City of Culture hosting the Commonwealth Games and just things that we've done, and then go to the personal ones, so Archie Gemmill scoring the goal against Holland and stuff like that, and maybe some clips of Braveheart and some Scottish films, just to really to get a humorous side of it, because I think that is a really important part of Scottish people and how I should approach this. Is we're very self-deprecating people, very humorous. I want to have that because it's not true, it's true and it's not true, and again it's going to build the mythos of what it means to be Scottish. And yeah, so I'm going to have the two sort of different characters where I'm going to have Nicky the performer and Nicky the singer. So Nicky the performer is going to be telling the story, Nicky the singer is going to be almost like a lounge singer. He's going to be singing the songs to go along with it, and each song is going to be linked to a certain part of the performance. The song starting is Iron Sky, which is about the Scottish Independence referendum by Paolo Nutini. It's a great song, but then it's going to go into things like Bruce Springsteen's Death to My Hometown and his other song My Hometown. And then I'm also going to have the Proclaimers in there because it's so stereotypically Scottish that I'm really going to play with the stereotype. But there's a song that links, I feel, Scotland and Newcastle, because I want to make it about Newcastle, because again that's where I went, and when it was heating up to the vote itself, Newcastle was where I was staying. And there's a song by the Proclaimers called Should Have Been Loved, which I'll go into again in the performance, which I feel like is sort of intrinsically linked to people of Newcastle, because me and Stephen and I were talking about it, and how the people of Newcastle react to politics is quite interesting to us, where they don't mind, they very much play the role of the beaten down northerner, which is quite horrible to say, but sometimes they do act like that, and I want to link that intrinsically, if you got a vote, what would you vote, and how would you react to it, and would you take it? Because I have a feeling that they would, because of the reaction I got when people knew I was Scottish, they were asking me quite a lot about it, and they all agreed that they would go for independence as well because something's clearly not working. It's also going to go in now to the EU referendum, because I think that was a huge turning point after the no vote, where things are starting to talk about again of another referendum. So what I'm going to do on the whiteboard is with my pen here, just sort of draw what I'd like for the performance itself, how I imagine the set looking. So it'll be quite a crude drawing. I'm not the best at drawing by hand, but we will have like a bit of a drawing so people can understand and walk through what I want from the design of the piece itself. So what I'm going to do is just start off with the sort of just usual sort of stage, if that's okay, and then I might go on like this pen's run out. So what I want, so that's just the rough idea of what the stage could be. So what I would really like is, I'm going to have the screen obviously up the back so the audience can see it, in the chair sort of just quite far forward. So that's a big sort of chair, of course it's going to be turned round as well there, with me starting there. I want to have the microphone stand, which is just here there. The audience really can sit wherever they want. I quite like that idea of that they can really be in the action. I want it quite closed off, I want it quite intimate, because I feel like what we're talking about is a very intimate situation. And of course the projector will be sort of filming up onto here at the other end. Aside from that really, because, and one of the other things that they talked about in my set was, when I did the original performance, was that they really liked how I invited them in and had whiskey for them because of the smell and it sort of permeating the room and like really feeling like a tavern, like, and that's what I like. I like thinking they were in a pub somewhere, like quite a dark, dingy place where we're telling a story. It's almost like we're staging a coup, which would be quite interesting, quite cool for the audience to look at. They would quite enjoy it. And that's really it for the design elements of it. As more goes on, we do the performance video log. I feel like it will become really clear what I want to do and how I want to do it. But again, for me, like talking about design, talking about collaboration is so important to go hand in hand. Like, how do you design this world that the audience is going to step into? And I go into it when we did Leap, and I sort of wanted to design posters and have the whole, if I got my own way, have the theatre designed up like the shows to really immerse the audience in the scenario. I believe in that. I think that's a great way to get the audience on your side of thinking and on your performance, is having it being really, really immersive. And that's what I like to go for. That's what concerns me most when I'm thinking about set design, how I design my pieces. But apart from that, that's going to be me signing off then on this video log. Then the next one, as I said, will be the performance, which I'm going to do down in a more performance-based venue. Sorry about having to hold the camera like this. There wasn't a spot I could hold it up, and I'm actually using my own GoPro, so the sound might need put up a bit. Again, I'm very sorry about that. There'll be references for stuff that I talk about as well within the essay, and within a reference list that I'm going to hand in. You can use the contact form on this website as well, in case you want to get in touch with me and ask me a few more questions about it. Okay, so I've been Nicky Gibb. Thanks for listening.